The concept of an Overton window is fairly simple, perhaps even oversimplified. It suggests there's one window, and in reality, we see this more and more, that there are potentially multiple windows in which we see different groups of people have different ranges of what they feel is acceptable behavior, acceptable to talk about. But I think that's actually a bit dangerous. It's supposed to represent the general norms of a society as a whole. And the more our societies fragment, the more we find ourselves with multiple different windows that are not overlapping. We need to find ways to expand those windows, to talk to people who have a range of views, something that might feel slightly radical to one person feels acceptable or normal to another. And we have to be cognizant that the policies that are getting formed in our societies and in our governments are shifting what is acceptable to speak about or not. We cannot let policy shift our ability to have discussions. There is a point where you stop fearing disagreement and start fearing dishonesty, where you stop fearing social rejection and instead start fearing being dishonest to yourself, being resentful, being weak, or even being complicit in things that you know are not right. We need to make it okay to have those conversations. I'm an environmental scientist, and I've worked in the mining sector for 18 years. There are things that I find it difficult or challenging to speak about because they don't fit within the normal Overton window of what is acceptable to speak about in terms of the environment and mining in common everyday society now in Canada. As a woman who's worked in mining and science in all these areas, I experience rejection from people and rude comments for speaking positively about my experiences because it doesn't fit into the current narrative that you hear. That needs to change. I try to speak up about how Canada is actually a leader in innovation and science in the mining sector. Our mining sector is highly innovative. It is a leader in social responsibility and in environmental standards globally. And yet, to try to talk about those things within Canada, I'm received with social rejection and people who refuse to hear me or refuse to discuss because that Overton window is currently located in a different area. And we've come to a point where there's even a moral high ground that has become associated with being aligned with the Overton window on some specific topics. And I think that is extra scary, to be aligning morality with the current range of policy. I just want us to be able to have better conversations in the world, to be able to have people who have a different background, have a different experience, have a different knowledge base. But there's a point where I have to wonder, do I fear that disagreement or that potential social rejection more than fearing being dishonest about things that I know I've experienced or that I know to be scientifically accurate or factually true, just because they don't fit into the current Overton window on a topic? And so that's what I wrestle with. And more, I work on speaking up. Of course, we all have to choose our battles, figure out where to put our energy. But I know as I wrestle with this, I'm examining my own actions with scrutiny and evaluating whether they match my intentions and what I know to be true. And just getting better day by day, building that strength, building that trust and that belief in myself, and letting my light shine. I hope you will too.